Yeah, just be sure you don't ask these two on how to make a good first impression, not unless you want to become a meme character, which I won't judge if that's your choice. Might give you a leg up in your merchandise sales. Following up on last week, after avoiding deportation, Lala was setting her sights on receiving a higher education. Thus, after Abraham took care of the paperwork, I'm guessing mostly with money since she's a literal illegal alien, Lala was sent for her first day of Earth School. And while she of course looked adorable in her uniform, she was unsure whether or not she should also wear her glove that connected her to her ship's AI. She ultimately decided against it, as she didn't want to rely on it to give her all of the answers like it usually does. Yeah, it's not as though the kids these days carry around little devices that give them access to near infinite databases. Ooh, what's this? Hikaru walked with her to school where they met up with the rest of their crew. Ew, I've read enough shoujo manga to know where this is going. As luck would have it, Lala ended up in the same class as Hikaru, though she was unable to sit next to her friend as she had the standard anime protagonist corner seat, and the seat next to her was already taken. Is this kid gonna turn out to be Charlie's dad? But yeah, this Andrew Garfield looking kid was Tatsunori Karabe, or Karanori as his friends called him. Basically, that was a nickname meant to emphasize his laid-back yet free-spirited personality, and yeah, just by that description you could tell he's going to be the victim of the week. But before we get there, Lala had to go through her first day of school. After getting to know everyone in her class, including Sakurako, man I miss Katsuki, it was time for science class. Apparently Lala's AI did follow her to school. Yeah, while she's uncredited, that's definitely Miki Ito voicing the science teacher. Anyway, Taiga-sensei was having them do some basic experiments with scales. Payday couldn't invite Best Zodiac Princess. However, even a simple little experiment like this blew Lala's mind because, surprise surprise, the alien who was raised to only ever rely on her AI was having trouble fathoming the concept of critical thinking. Nah, but seriously, I do really like this sort of conflict for Lala, by having her actually go through the effects of culture shock, and showing that while she was one of the most competent members of her team, her upbringing didn't prep her for what we would consider the basics. But before we could go any further with this stuff, other, much more important matters had to be addressed. Hey, back in my day, we weren't allowed to carry on Tamagotchi. You girls are setting a bad example for the kiddies. And Sakurako kind of agreed with me, though for different reasons. As established in the last episode, Lala couldn't read Japanese and therefore missed a no running in the hallway sign. With one misfortune piled on top of the other, Lala's first day of school wasn't going so well, so pretty much like most first days of school. To wrap it all up, Lala was assigned mopping duties when they needed to clean the classroom. To be fair, she is better than a certain idol cure. But yeah, after being given the finishing blow by Karanori saying that she was a little weird, Lala understandably ran back to her ship. Having been officially designated as an other, Lala was truly starting to feel like an alien in every sense of the word. The next day, she tried again, though this time while wearing her AI glove. Which again, I'd argue is not necessarily a bad thing. Most kids these days do carry around smartphones, so Lala using her ship's AI to learn how to do a proper greeting in Japan isn't that much different than looking up stuff on, say, WikiHow. Yes, there is such a thing as over-reliance on technology, like using it in class, as that's outright cheating, but since school is a place where conformity is expected, I can't say what Lala is doing is completely wrong. Though of course, Hikaru didn't share my sentiments, even saying that failing a little was okay, which I might agree with, just not to the degree that Lala did on her first day. Still, Hikaru wanted to help her friend adjust a little more naturally, so she invited her whole team to take a walk around the school over the weekend. And they went in their casual wear. I'm pretty sure most Japanese schools require students to wear uniforms on the grounds even on days off, but whatever, the theme of this episode seems to be rule breaking. Anyway, the reason Hikaru brought Lala in over the weekend was to show her that the two of them were going to be the class leaders for the next school day. As it turned out, the whole class had decided to pair them up, knowing that the two of them were close friends, and hoping that it would help Lala adjust better. So even though they had only known her for a couple of days, her class had already long since accepted her as a part of the group and wanted to help her.
Okay, that was a pretty sweet little scene between our main heroines. I wonder how they're going to follow up on that. Ow, 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 my neck! Easy with the whiplash there, guys!
Yeah, as if right on cue, Kapard had arrived to provide us with our fight of the week. And isn't it just so convenient that Hikaru had invited her whole team out, even though she was only trying to help Lala? Anyway, it was a typical Kapard fight until the arrival of Karonori, who was unaware that it was even the weekend. Seriously, kid?
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Like seriously, what does him feeling guilty over making Lala sad have to do with his imagination? I guess you could say him recollecting his classmates scolding him was an application of a negative imagination, but still, that's really stretching it there, guys. Well, anyway, using some new powers granted to him by Dark Nest and a slick new stock animation, Kapard took Karonori's imagination, but rather than creating a monster of the week, he created a weapon of the week.
Darn it, Kapard, I was just settling on Bakunya being the best villain of this show. Why do you have to remind me of Best Boy from Kira Kira?
But yeah, as a nice way of distinguishing the generals and their abilities, Kapard's powers gave him new armaments, in this case a surfboard. And yes, I am required to use this obvious joke. Using his newly acquired trap art, Kapard started tearing apart the school grounds, enraging Lala, who wanted to protect the place where she now belonged. And using some clever diversionary tactics, Lala managed to strike his blind spot, and they defeated the surfboard. It looks more interesting than it actually sounds. Kapard retreated, and they rescued Karonori and his annoying laugh. Thus, the episode ended with him pointing out that he does prefer the usual Lala, and the rest of the class giving her the nickname of Runchan based off of her verbal tick.
While a part of me was kind of expecting a Makoto/Ellen class introduction episode, I am very glad that they took it in a significantly different direction here, and are starting to take full advantage of Lala's alien nature.
It would have been easy just to hand this off to Mutsumi Ito and have her write another comedy of errors around Lala's inability to adjust to the modern educational system. However, Mitsutaka Hirota had different plans. He wrote a somewhat comical, yet much more dramatic tale of an alien girl going through the worst kind of culture shock. The kind that, for a lack of better term, alienated her from the rest of her class. And for someone who was considered an adult on her planet, this probably felt even worse, like continuously failing at a job interview. I wasn't completely kidding when I said first days at new schools are never easy, and for foreigners especially, it comes with a steep learning curve. In that sense, I don't fully discredit Lala for turning to her ship's AI a little. Yes, there are people out there who are on their phones way too much, not just kids, which kinda makes me wish they had done more of a commentary about smartphone culture in this episode. As like many things in life, it comes down to finding a proper balance. And as a result, I do feel like the lesson of the day was somewhat muddled. Obviously, it's your standard be yourself and everyone will eventually come to accept you kind of story, but A, that doesn't always work out, especially in Japanese culture, where everyone is expected to conform to the group dynamic. And B, we have advanced to the point where a little reliance on the interwebs has been earned. Now, I don't mean to sound like a buzzkill or anything, as overall I still really do like Lala's conflict here. I just wish they didn't completely shoot down her usage of her AI, at least to learn proper greetings and how to use a mop. My other complaint has less to do with this episode and has more to do with this series as a whole, their application of the theme of imagination, or lack thereof. Yeah, I kind of noticed it back in episode 11, but really noticed it after Kapard just randomly brought it up before taking Karonori's. Again, I fail to see any direct correlation between imagination and guilt over making a girl sad. It feels like they just chose that as a theme for the sake of being different, but had no real plans on how to properly implement it. I really hope stuff like this gets ironed out later, because otherwise this was a really enjoyable episode. While she may be considered an adult on her planet, there are still many things that Lala can learn on our little blue planet.
Now that I'm fully rested up from all of my cons, I'm beginning to start putting the finishing touches on my All-Stars Memories review. Hopefully I should have it out later this week or early the following week. Either way, look forward to it. Until then though, farewell for now my friends, and I think I gotta get this neck checked out. I should probably start wearing a brace for these reviews.